Hey guys, we're back. Round 3, Thursday Night Modern. So we have Zach Garrettson on Scapeshift versus Chris Smith on Jund. This one could be a quick win or a really grindy game.
Yeah, and Jund decks these days have like a lot of lines, so it's interesting to see like which one Chris will decide to play here in game 1. Scapeshift, however, it's not the most linear deck we see here at GameSwap, but it has a pretty, it has several roads to get to the same victory path. You want to ramp into Scapeshift, and you want to just blow them out of the water with Valakut.
So Chris is gonna have to be pretty aggressive here, probably in game 1. It depends on how much hand attack he has.
I assure you, his sleeves are the same color. It looks, his deck looks yellow from where we're at, but I assure you, they're all the same.
So it appears to be a mulligan from Zach. I'm not sure who won the roll.
Looks like Chris might be. Oh, he's deciding. I think he's gonna keep.
Control could already do that anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I already have a bad
It's kind of dumb, actually. The decks that could already do work against you. Like,
Alright, so that's 2 Valakuts, a Lightning Bolt, Stomping Grounds, and another Lightning Bolt. I think you have to keep that one.
Looks like an Explorer's on top. Let me go ahead and keep that.
Alright. Here we go for game 1. I didn't get a good look at Chris's hand, though.
I did not either, so we'll have to see.
Alright, I see some lands, and I see...
I'm going to open with a Bloodstained Mire. And he's going to pass it back.
Alright, so we see Liliana with the Veil in his hand.
Alright, so Zach's going to have a nice play here. Or a nice start. We're going to shock in this Stomping Ground and explore, playing either this second Valakut or whatever he might get off the top. So he gets a Valakut off the top.
Valakut.
That's Valakut number 3, actually. It's not what he wants yet. Having that many Valakuts in play in the beginning is not going to get him very far. He needs to get those mountains.
No problem.
We're going to fetch on his end step. Zach's not looking great until he starts pulling some Search from Tomorrows, or I mean, even Scapeshift's not great yet.
I would have liked to have seen maybe a Prime Time in his hand. That probably would have. That'd be a good top deck for him.
He's still
a little far from that.
Yeah, he's going to need a lot of land
with
drops
this
here.
Liliana pending, that might be.
I'm going to go ahead and play a Treetop Village tapped. Doesn't look like he has any hand attacks, so he's going to have to pass it back. I believe he has Scavenging Ooze in hand.
Alright,
so we're going to explore, double tapping his green sources. Not a huge fan of that.
Yeah. He's probably thinking I need to hold up this Lightning Bolt.
Which he can still do.
Yeah.
With not tapping both green sources.
That's true.
Can't tell. That might be a Prime Time that he just drew. I'm not sure.
Alright.
There's not a ton of green cards in the deck that don't find lands.
Another Bloodstained Mire?
So Chris is going to play the Scavenging Ooze to apply some sort of pressure. There's not a lot going on yet, but it's just going to go ahead and get bolted.
Alright, so there's one of the bolts.
Even if he played Lily here, it would have taken some damage.
Yep.
But it would have been a plus. But I don't know if Chris wants to get rid of anything in his hand. I'm not sure what he's got. He's got some lands.
What is that card?
I believe that's the, I forget what it's called, but it turns all the lands into all types.
Ah, okay. That's a 2-drop enchantment, correct?
Prismatic Omen, yes.
Prismatic Omen, cool.
So now with multiple Valakuts, he can actually start pounding in some damage
So
once
he
he
has
gets 2 more lands.
He has four mountains
He
total,
does.
including
He needs-
one of the Valakuts.
He needs to drop his 5th mountain, and then the next mountains that come into play will start triggering his Valakuts.
Yeah.
Super not good for Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, and for those of you unfamiliar, for 1 and a green, enchantment, lands you control are every basic type. And for this match, mountain is all we care about.
So we're going to go ahead and answer his Bob with his 2nd bolt.
I feel like that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Zach is in a good place here.
Yeah.
Not familiar with that card that he just played. I'm not sure.
Is that Scapeshifty?
No.
No. Oh, is this one of the tutor lands?
Yeah, I think it's one of the elf searchers. Yeah.
Wood elves.
It's gonna search for a basic land, right? Or is it any land? Might need to get that one on screen too.
It looks like he can pick any land because he's got a Valakut.
So he's gonna
milling
go
about.
for the throat here.
Yeah. 2 to 3.
4th Valakut in hand.
Oof.
When this Valakut drops, it's gonna deal a ton of damage.
Yeah.
It's
Wood
Negative
elves.
12. Yeah, so comes into play. You can get a force card. Oh, because of Prismatic Omen, all of his lands are all basic land types, which
Yeah.
allows him to grab any land.
And that does hit things in his deck that
Right.
that's every land he controls.
So we get a tapped land from Chris.
What would you do here if you're Chris? Do you jam this Lily?
Well, he's got, looks like Terminate, Lily, maybe a Bolt in the back, a land, 2 Terminates. Chris is not in a good spot
No, he is not.
whatsoever. Lily's only thing I think he should play here.
Yeah, Lily is really your only player, I think.
Okay, so we're not entirely sure that interaction works with decks in his, or lands in his deck.
I wonder if there's a gatherer rule about that.
It'll probably work similarly to Blood Moon,
Okay.
where your lands are not mountains in your deck.
Yeah, so when you...
It's when they come into play.
And the classic interaction with that is the case for shock lands.
Right, once they enter play, they become mountains and don't have their abilities anymore.
But
So
because of the way that's worded, like when they come in, you
it
still
might,
have to
yeah,
shock.
so
for
they're waiting
Blood.
on a judge
Yeah.
call there. So, but Zach, I don't think cares. He could have gotten just any land there anyway.
Yeah, because
he does have 3rd Valakut in
Yeah,
hand. So
and even if he got like because he was considering one of these fetch land, or yeah. So either way, as long as he gets a mountain out there, he has the 3rd Valakut in hand.
yeah,
He's still in a good position.
absolutely.
That's cool.
And game lost, get him out of here. Yes, this is casual REL, which means us, the commentators, and the stream runner do not interact with the game as far as judge calls go. Only spectators and them. So,
Yeah, we are. We have a policy of trying to remain neutral so that we don't, so that it's fair for everybody in the room.
right,
We don't want this specific table to be special treatment.
right, yeah, being enforced more.
But at the same time, if we do see illegal actions, we can call a judge like anybody observing the match can.
It's green creature will trample until end of turn.
Yeah, we'll get that. We're getting the life totals back up there for you. Sorry about that. Occasionally, XSplit is not very nice.
All right, so we top deck the
Whoa.
Valakut.
Spill.
So I guess in retrospect, it doesn't quite matter so much.
Yeah.
He just top decked the Valakut.
Yeah. He's got enough.
These 2 trigger, I'm gonna go.
So unlike Blood Moon, this Prismatic Omen, it does not remove the abilities, obviously, or else the deck wouldn't play it. So Valakut will still come in tapped.
Yeah.
And we're going to shoot him. Now, I believe he's in shooting potential now. Oh, well,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
escape shift.
Yeah.
This game's over.
Yeah, this game
So I
is
can
over.
sacrifice any of our lands I control and search for that many lands. So then sacrifice 5.
So Chris might be having him go ahead and perform it just so he can understand how it works.
It does give him a little bit of information,
Right,
but
absolutely.
he's just going to see lands out of this.
Right. So we're going to go ahead and sack some lands. I'm going to bring some lands back.
Yeah.
And since they all come in at the same time, they're all going to trigger off of that one Valakut, which is why he sacked the other ones. It doesn't quite matter
Yeah.
that he has more than one Valakut. That's super overkill.
Yeah, it's
So all he needs to do here is pull these 5 lands.
Yeah.
And Valakut's going to shoot him 5 times.
5 mountains.
Yeah, 5 times. Dealing 15 damage.
Yeah. So good thing he didn't grab that forest he had his eye on.
Well, Prismatic Omen's in play.
Oh, Prismatic Omen. Very good. So yeah,
so
that's
not a great start for Chris here. He had a lot of interaction if this was, a typical creature deck that midrange likes to see.
I'm surprised he didn't have the hand hate. That seems like
It's just variance. He
it is
had the
variance.
Terminates instead.
I think he probably saw Liliana in there and thought it was a good keep.
That's typically a good hand.
Yeah, typically it is.
So Chris has hopefully got a playset of Fulminator Mages here.
I believe he does.
Just gave opponent more info.
I don't think we're worried about a Sacred Foundry in a Scapeshift deck. He's splashing white probably for sideboard.
Yeah, that's fair. It's not necessary to show him the Sacred Foundry.
But it
But
also
he
looked
also
like
has every basic land type.
yeah.
So, he could cast a blue spell if he wanted.
Lump 72. I need to figure out how to beat this deck.
Destroying Valakut's a good way to beat it. But
Definitely-
it does beat face with Primeval Titans.
You definitely don't want to Blood Moon. You're just helping them.
No, Blood Moon,
Blood Moon?
does pretty
Yeah.
well. It just depends on how the Scapeshift player wants to win.
Mm-hmm.
If they suspect the Blood Moon, then they can play Chandra,
Yeah.
Inferno Titan. They can also play, interact like Beast Within or Oblivion Stone, which I've seen from certain people. So yeah, there's different ways
Cool.
to avoid Blood Moon.
It seems like-
Sometimes decks try to jam out Blood Moon fast and then end up paying for it in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes that's it can be a little bit of a mistake to just jam out a Blood Moon and think that you've won the game because of it.
Right.
We've seen the classic example of that is Blood Moon versus Tron.
Right.
Because Tron still has high value, highly efficient payoffs that they specifically Worm Coil Engine.
Yeah.
If they get that in hand, it doesn't matter if there's a Blood Moon. You're still gonna get Worm Coiled.
So like I said, Chris Smith is going to want some Fulminator Mages here. He also is going to probably take out a sizable portion of his creature removal, like Fatal Push. It's not going to hit any of Zach's creatures that are worth anything.
Yeah.
Well, he should keep in some Terminates to deal with the Primeval Titans that he didn't see but should suspect.
Yeah. So that's the other way you can win the game with this Scapeshift deck. And what I've liked about the Scapeshift deck is that people kind of haven't given up on it.
No, I think it's actually really strong.
It's been growing a bit. It hasn't really gotten a ton of new stuff from new sets, other than obviously another reprint of Scapeshift itself. I guess
Right.
that helps. But
Helps the wallet.
yeah, it definitely helps the wallet. But this Scapeshift deck is it's kind of interesting because it has good matchups against stuff that normal decks have bad matchups against.
Right.
It definitely does its thing. It's like Modern's version of lands, but no merit lages allowed.
Right. So I feel like Zach isn't afraid of anything but hand hate from Chris.
Yeah.
I feel like he can just kind of search for lands and naturally get there. He doesn't even need Prismatic Omen to win. And that's why I like that card a lot. It's because now Chris, in his mind, he's going to want to keep in his Abrupt Decays, Maelstrom Pulses,
to try to get rid
to
of
deal with that
yeah.
Omen. Especially if Zach gets greedy like he did in game 1. Well, he didn't get greedy. He had to be by playing
he
all those
had to be.
Valakuts. But so we might not see early Valakuts here from Zach, knowing that he might have some land destruction.
Sure.
Because Jund players typically don't like Tron.
Yeah, so they're
So
gonna.
they're prepared for Tron and accidentally are prepared for Scapeshift.
I was just talking to Chris, and he definitely likes Fulminator Mages, so
Yeah.
I expect we should hopefully you want to see one of those in your opening hand, along with the Thoughtseize.
Yeah, the Thoughtseize is integral to this matchup.
I'd almost mulligan for Thoughtseize if I'm Chris here. Although he is on the play, so
Yeah.
if you mulligan, it's okay to mulligan to 6 because you get that scry.
Yeah.
But all right, so land, green card.
Looks like we have an Anger of the Gods.
Yeah,
for
that's
Zach.
definitely an anger.
A
looks like
lot of lands.
lot of
We've got
lands.
an Explorer.
That's a 5-land Explorer and Anger of the Gods. He's gonna keep it.
Yeah, I mean, the deck wants to put lands on the field. Why pitch a land?
Yeah,
Heavy hand.
it's one of the few decks that you're okay to keep a 5-lander.
Yeah, it's protected against.
Okay, here we go.
Instep, Zach.
Are you going to 17 or 19?
It's protected against hand hate. You know, if your payoff cards are on the top of your deck and not in your hand.
And our stream runner Matt, who actually plays this deck, he's pointing out that this Scapeshift deck does not mulligan very well.
Right.
Yeah, and Scapeshift, you're looking at quantity, not quality. You're not trying to outvalue your opponent. You're trying to get those lands on the battlefield
Yeah, I mean, the
and
deck
get your win
doesn't-
con.
To be honest, the deck doesn't play that many good cards.
Yeah,
It
Yeah.
plays a lot of lands, and that's
it plays
the
a
thing
lot
that
of
kills
lands. All right, so he's gonna feed his lands.
So yeah, it looks like Lump saw a BBE and a Bob for Chris. Seems pretty okay. It applies some pressure and some card advantage. Let's see if they survive this Anger of the Gods that he's gonna walk.
Yeah, he probably isn't expecting this Anger in Zach's hand. How crazy expensive are Bobs now? They're getting there.
But so Chris starts this game a land behind, despite being on the play, which really hurts. But that's just because of the nature of Explorer.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it.
It gives you, I mean, you see the lands here. The main point is that he has one more land.
All right, so we have a Goyf.
All right, so that Goyf is land
He's a 2/3.
sorcery.
And
So
he will survive this Anger as soon
Yeah.
as he casts it.
as soon as he casts it, that puts a sorcery in.
So it'll be a 3/4 when Anger resolves. So Zach's gonna have to hold on to that Anger, which is okay.
Yeah.
You know, taking a beating for 3 every turn is a clop,
Yeah.
but it is not going to kill him.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully Zach can pull some good stuff here. Looks like he got a Primeval Titan and another Explorer. So make Explorer number.
I mean, at Notch, I believe that Jund is one of the main decks that still plays Dark Confidant.
All right, so now we have this. We can hear the stage now.
Oh, yeah, just for the record, it's named, the name of the card is Dark Confidant, but it's classically called Bob. All right, so is Explorer a sorcery?
It is.
Okay, so that's fine.
It's a 2/3.
Right.
Land, yeah.
He's exile.
Yeah, so we were thinking there was an instant in the graveyard. All right, so Zach is on curve
Yeah.
with this 6 land in hand to play the Primeval Titan in his hand.
Yeah, I mean, the
we're
Dark
gonna deploy-
The reason why they call Dark Confidant Bob is, I believe, one of the arts of the cards is
original.
modeled
Yes.
after a player.
Yeah, Snapcaster Mage, Meddling Mage, all of those were of the likeness of pro players from that time.
Yeah.
Now we don't have the stage volume. I'm not sure what's going on.
I'm not touching things.
But anyway, it was nice to hear
Yeah.
hear the board state for just
Yeah,
a second
yeah, for
there
a second there.
in round 3. So looks like
Is that a Razor Verge? Or
no, that's
Cinder
probably a
Glade?
Cinder Glade,
Cinder
which is
Glade?
why he was confused why he
Yeah.
didn't take any damage. He has more than 2 basics, so we're gonna go
Oh,
ahead and cast this prime
time.
grab some Valakutes.
Chris reading Primetime is not a good sign.
Yeah, his fate is impending.
Yeah. He does not have a way to interact with this, does he?
So we're going to grab a couple Valakuts, and then the next mountain is going to deal some damage.
He's gonna go ahead and fetch.
So if this Primeval Titan can attack, this game's over.
Yeah, it's definitely over.
Hopefully, Chris has a Terminate or possibly a Liliana to force him to sacrifice it would be really good here.
Yeah.
And he has an extra card draw from Bob, so we'll see.
Yeah, well he'll have a couple of chances here. Well,
always
two
crazy.
card draws.
Yeah.
What are
It's
those?
crazy seeing this matchups with Scapeshift, just seeing the... Ooh, that's a Huntmaster off the top. That's 4 damage. Just
Gross.
seeing the board state with all the lands. You know, it's
All
hard
right,
to tell.
so that's a lightning bolt. That is unfortunately not enough to deal with prime time.
It is not. Looks like he's flooded a little bit. There's a lot of lands in Chris's hand. Still has that Bloodbraid, I believe.
You play a land, pop Bloodbraid, pray. Bloodbraid at least is a blocker.
You're right, Lump. 2 bolts definitely does deal with a Primeval Titan.
You could Bloodbraid into another lightning bolt.
So Chris is in a pretty bad position here. I feel like he's just kind of in the tank and hoping this Bloodbraid might find something he's looking for. If he gets a Liliana here, that'd be really nice.
Yeah.
And I might have mistook Bloodbraid for Huntmaster. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was.
Okay.
All right, so Bob is not what you want to see there.
No, but it is a dude.
It is, yeah. At this point, your Bob's probably becoming a blocker. But Primetime has trample.
Yeah, Primeval Titan does have trample, and he is only presenting 4 toughness. But I feel like Zach would probably want to just secure this win here. Oh, he just tops a Sacred Foundry.
Oh, so
he
that's
takes 6 there.
2 Valaka triggers.
Yeah. So he's just going to take 6 right off the rip here, and he's going to take 12 more.
Yeah.
Unless he grabs, or if he grabs a 3rd.
I think he might just win here.
Yeah, I mean it's
depending on how Chris blocks. Chris basically has to block with everything to not.
I mean, this is going to happen before it blocks.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whatsoever.
Yeah.
He could blow him to the face or kill the Bobs like he did.
Yeah.
Trample damage comes over.
Yeah, I think that's game.
And then he's gonna deal 2.
So I'm down to 5.
What?
I double
Win
block,
with
start
style.
dropping on and catch.
Yeah.
So I
All right, so I guess we're going to roll back what happened.
Oh, 12. Yeah, my bad.
For Chris's sanity,
12.
Yeah,
it's in
'cause I
a
had
little
2
bit of
in it.
disbelief
I
here.
was like, wait, I did math wrong or something?
So I was at.
It might actually be
You
a
were at
judge
13.
call.
I played Mountain.
We're down. So
Yeah, we're not sure what's going on. We haven't.
total.
So we've attacked,
Yeah.
and we've gotten our lands.
Yeah,
so I
so-
believe it has. Okay, so
Yeah.
he understands.
Primeval
now.
Titan's trigger ability is whenever he attacks.
Correct, and
So
enters, yes.
yeah.
You didn't die that
All right, well that wraps up the Scapeshift Jun match.
Do you think we should try to find another match?
Yeah, if there's still people playing.
Matt, would you mind seeing if we have another match we can pull? That would be awesome.
Yeah, well then I could just like search for my other 2.
So it doesn't look like we have another match to put up. Unfortunately, that was a pretty quick one.
Yeah, that was pretty quick. Don't forget we have a our current giveaway is a Rishadown port. If you would like to enter that, you can enter using your Twitch points with !enter in chat, or to check your points, do !points. Rishadown port, yep, it's the one we're giving away is your choice of masks or M25, non-foil, obviously. We're not. It'd be nice, but also for the next 2 Wednesdays.